Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am going to do a quick page in my Traveler's Notebook using some of the November exclusives from Citrus Twist. Now I've started with, funnily enough, I started with that 3x4 journaling card, which isn't part of the exclusive this month. It actually came as a little thank you note that came with my order, and the checklist on the back of it just kind of sparked off this idea to do a page. I ended up deciding to choose this little photo of Jack, and I'm just going to base the page off that. So I started by picking out one of the wood grain papers, and I've just trimmed that so that it fits inside my right hand page on my notebook spread. And then I've used some of these beautiful gold tiny word stickers to kind of cover up the sentiment. It said checklist at the top, and it just, it worked, but I kind of wanted something a little bit more appropriate to what my journaling was about, which was about all those kind of feelings that Jack inspires in me. So I've just covered that up. It fit perfectly. I'm going to cover up the little sentiment at the bottom as well, because that doesn't, again, kind of quite go with the theme of my page. And then I'm picking out some of these leaf die cuts, and I'm choosing colors that like match my photo. The rest of the page is quite neutral, but I guess there's this little kind of brown, tan, and green kind of theme going on. So I just picked out those kind of leaves, and I'm going to create a couple of little clusters. Now, I gotta say, to kind of struggle with this. Like, I love florals, but like these kind of leaf shapes, it's not really my thing. I started out by trying to cover up that sentiment at the bottom of that journaling card. I just had this idea that I would have my photo on one side, my journaling card on the other, and I would create two kind of little leafy clusters around those things. But I've just found it really difficult to kind of balance the pages, and I play around with that for a long time. So I'm sort of struggling to cover up that sentiment. I'm struggling to balance the pages, and I play around for a good long while before I kind of decide to switch things up a little bit and swap that journaling card over onto the other side of the page. So once it's over there on the left hand side, it means that I can create kind of bigger cluster on that side, and just kind of build that out a little bit. And I decide that the way I'm going to do that is not just with those leaves, because you can tell I'm struggling a little bit. I'm going to build out the journaling card with some of the same pattern paper, just a little bit of the offcut that I used. So the first thing I want to do is just glue down this wood grain paper. I know that I'm going to use that there, and then it's going to stop that kind of wobbling around all over the place. I picked up a punch and decided that I would see whether that would take care of that sentiment at the bottom, and it didn't. So this is where I'm going to just add the pattern paper directly to the bottom of that journaling card, and then I can use the punch down the bottom of there. I was kind of hoping to get a couple of different layers on there, but the punch didn't quite take out that sentiment. It left it there, and I just decided this was the easiest way to take care of the issue that I had. It just makes that card a little bit bigger and a little bit easier to balance out. So then I can go ahead and start kind of rebuilding some of these clusters. And I'm starting with, again, those kind of same colors. That's like tan and that kind of tealy green color. But I can add in a couple of those lighter, kind of whiter ones as well, now that I've got a little bit of that pattern paper, that darker kind of wood grain pattern underneath both of those kind of clusters. Now, the puffy stickers this month, they're very autumnal themed, very fall themed, very Thanksgiving-y themed, which is not applicable here in New Zealand. But there are a couple that I want to use, and one especially is that sort of darker teal colored circle. Got a little sentiment on there. It's very hard to see here on camera, but I really liked it, and I thought it would work nicely here, and that's what I'm going to use to kind of anchor this bottom cluster of leaves. I keep wanting to call them florals. They're definitely not florals, and so they're kind of all going to be sprouting out from that sticker. So I go ahead and stop kind of faffering about. Want to commit. This was supposed to be like a quick and simple page, and it sort of just got a little bit carried away on me trying to layer in all of these leaf shapes. And you can see I've just popped that sticker down kind of where all of those stems converge on each other. Now it is quite kind of dark element, and although some of my photo is a little bit darker as well, so it kind of balances out, it looks very stark on that bright white page on the left hand side there. So I am concerned about kind of balancing these pages out a little bit. So I need to make this left hand side a little bit kind of bigger, a little bit more dominant. I'm going to do that. I'm going to start by adding one more sticker, and then I'm going to add a third one over on my right hand side. Again, just tying some of those elements together. And I do add a couple of these other little leafy puffy stickers just to kind of add a bit more puffy in here. Like there was one puffy sticker which seems a bit weird, so I added some other ones. Then I'm going to go back in. I am planning on adding some stamping onto the right hand side. This is the new Harper Alpha, which I really like. It's kind of like a bigger version of that, my favorite kind of typewriter alpha stamp that I have from Citrus Twist, which is no longer available. So I finally got one that I can link for you guys. But I am just going to shift this up a little bit. So as well as adding the bigger kind of cluster onto the left, I kind of wanted to make the right hand side a little bit smaller. So I've just moved my photo up, covered up a little bit more of those leaf shapes. It is going to let me add a little bit of stamping. I'm not really going to use too much of the alpha. I'm really just going to add a date in there. But because I've made that smaller, I can make this one bigger by just adding a couple of those bigger, darker leaves underneath. It just kind of brings it down the page a bit more. It makes it a little bit bigger and just kind of balances out the page a little bit. Now, eventually I get done with adding all of these extra leaves in here, and I'm going to do my kind of date stamping. Like I've already done my journaling, and the page doesn't really have a title or anything. But because I guess with Jack photos, like Jack changes so quickly. With me in my life, it's all pretty ordinary, so I don't add dates often. But with Jack, he changes so quickly that I really just kind of want to capture the sort of when of these photos. Now, one of the other things that I've been kind of collecting, I've got this little tray on my desk, and every time I get a parcel from Citrus Twist, I very carefully open that sucker and make sure I pull out every one of the pretty sparkles and kind of shaker elements that are always in there. So I've got this little tray of them, and I knew that at some point, it might have been November too, I got these leaves in here, and I figured they would be perfect for adding a little bit of extra kind of gold in there as well. So I'm just adding them with glue dots because I really can't be bothered waiting for liquid glue to dry, but also because I've got these little, I don't know what you want to call them. They're little heart kind of sprinkles. They look like cookies to me, but I really liked that they were brown and I could add them in and just have another kind of little element in here. So another sort of more neutral, less girly kind of element, I guess. So I'm just going to add 3 of those in here, one at the bottom of my photo and one by my little puffy sticker and one just at the top by my gold stickers. I guess that's kind of the title for the page up here, and that is my page all done. I will link any of these exclusives down below in the description box if you want to pick some up for yourself, but they are very, very pretty to use this month. Hey, thanks for watching today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I will see you again really soon. Bye, guys.